They say the Confederate gold was lost over 150 years ago. What they don't say is that the FBI might have just found it and hauled it away under the cover of darkness. That's right, we're not talking pirate tales or ancient myths. This is a real-life treasure story with federal agents, armored trucks, mysterious late-night digs, and a mountain in Pennsylvania that may have coughed up millions in Civil War-era gold. And now, thanks to newly revealed eyewitness accounts and a whole lot of government secrecy, the whole thing is starting to smell less like legend and more like a cover-up. Here's the wild part. Back in March 2018, the FBI rolled up deep into the snowy woods of Dents Run, Pennsylvania. Officially, they were there for an excavation. Unofficially, they were chasing a stash of gold lost by the Confederate Army in the final days of the Civil War. A shipment rumored to be worth upwards of $100 million today. Now, fast forward 5 years later, the agency claims they found nothing, not a single coin. But locals say otherwise. One man heard heavy machinery before sunrise. Another saw a convoy of black SUVs and armored trucks rolling out of the woods. And one truck was riding low, like it was carrying something real heavy. And that's just the beginning. Imagine waking up in the dense wilderness of Pennsylvania, the morning fog clinging to the trees and the ground still dusted in snow. That's what Eric McCarthy and his client Don Reichel were doing that day, out before dawn, hoping to find antlers shed by elk. But instead of silence, McCarthy heard the growl of engines, the clanging of metal, a sound no elk ever made.
And along, all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw somebody step in front of me, like onto the trail from behind a tree. And they were standing there in complete black, face mask, all you could see was this. Fully automatic weapon. I'm gonna walk you to your car and you have to leave, sir. And I was like, well, can you explain to me what's going on? No.
What he stumbled across wasn't a quiet patch of woods. It was an operation, floodlights blazing, heavy machinery digging, people moving. A dig site. And a few hours later, when he and Reichel were back on the road, 3 armored trucks rolled past. One of them was sagging low, like it was packed with something dense, something valuable. The FBI says that's all nonsense. They say they arrived at 8 a.m. No armored trucks, no treasure, just a lot of dirt. But McCarthy says otherwise, so do other locals, and so does Dennis Parada, the treasure hunter who brought the FBI to the site in the first place.
You guys think the FBI took the gold, and the FBI says they didn't take the gold. How do you prove this, and what do you want out of it?
Dennis Parada isn't some conspiracy theorist. He's a professional treasure hunter who runs a company called Finders Keepers. For years, he and his son Kem had been researching the legend of the Confederate gold. After scanning the land at Dents Run and picking up signs of something massive buried below, something metallic, something dense, Parada alerted the FBI. The FBI brought in their own geophysical experts, who confirmed the scans. Something big and metallic was under there, potentially up to 9 tons of it. A federal judge even signed off on a warrant allowing a dig. And so in March 2018, agents set up shop. Cameras, equipment, security, the works. But Parada wasn't allowed anywhere near the actual digging. He and his team were kept in their Porsche cars at the base of the hill. When it was over, the agents showed him a hole, empty, not a trace of gold. But that didn't sit right, and it still doesn't.
They're claiming they didn't find anything, but they're not proving the documents. They're not providing the documents proving that they found nothing. And when we do get information from them, it's lies. We're told that they didn't take any video footage, but yet we have pictures and video of them taking video footage. And when confronted with that evidence, they turn around and say, oh yeah, we did take video footage, here you go.
Because while the FBI claimed transparency, they've done everything but. They denied FOIA requests. They refused to release their full operational plan. They dragged their feet in court. And even when forced to hand over documents, key portions were redacted or missing. Then the real twist came, when a judge themselves admitted there may be more to the story, that maybe the FBI did find something and just isn't telling us. Now let's rewind even further to the origin of the treasure. According to Civil War legend, as Richmond fell and the Confederacy began to crumble, President Jefferson Davis fled the capital with everything the government had left. Gold bars, silver coins, jewels, and vital financial documents. 2 trains were loaded, one carrying officials, the other the treasure. But the train with the loot? It never made it. Some say it was ambushed, others claim the gold was hidden. Some stories even say soldiers stole it. But over the years, the only thing that remained consistent was this: the treasure was lost and never found. Until maybe now. But Dents Run isn't the only place rumored to hold a slice of this vanished fortune.
And it's just a very frustrating situation.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially since you guys spent, what, a couple of decades almost, and a lot of money and time and effort and energy trying to find this wild story. Dates back to the Civil War. All right, we're going to follow it. Kem, as things go on in court, and the more evidence you get from the FBI, give it to us, all right? We'd love to hear from it, all right?
Let's talk about Lake Michigan. According to another long-standing theory, the Confederate gold was shipped north to Michigan in a final attempt to escape capture. At some point, it was loaded onto a ferry, but a fierce storm forced the crew to dump the heavy boxcar into the lake, where it's said to still sit today. Enter treasure hunters Kevin Dykstra and Frederick Monroe. In 2011, they claimed to have found a shipwreck in Lake Michigan that matched the description of the ferry, but they kept their discovery quiet, worried that the state of Michigan would block any recovery efforts. To this day, the mystery remains unresolved. From storm-tossed lake beds to backwoods Pennsylvania, the Confederate gold has inspired books, movies, and endless obsession. But the most compelling piece of the puzzle might be what happened just a few years ago under a cold Pennsylvania sky when the FBI showed up in the middle of nowhere with a permit to dig and left without a trace. Unless, of course, they didn't. Because if the gold was recovered in secret, the implications are massive, not just for history, but for ownership. Parada would be owed a finder's fee. The state of Pennsylvania might claim rights to the haul. And the federal government? Well, they'd have a whole lot of explaining to do. And now, thanks to new eyewitnesses like McCarthy and Reichel, the cracks in the official story are growing wider. They heard machinery before sunrise, long before the FBI's official start time. They saw a weighted-down truck. They saw movement, lights, activity, and the FBI's timeline doesn't add up. If they found nothing, why the secrecy? Why the armored vehicles? Why the refusal to release documents? And why are more and more people coming forward with pieces of the puzzle? At the heart of it all, this isn't just about treasure, it's about trust. It's about whether our government is willing to come clean. Some secrets are worth more than gold. So now we ask you, what do you believe? Was the Confederate gold finally found in the woods of Pennsylvania? Did it slip into the depths of Lake Michigan? Or has it been gone all along, dissolved into dust and legend? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are we on the edge of the biggest treasure recovery in American history? Or chasing shadows through the trees? And if you enjoyed this wild ride through mystery, legend, and government intrigue, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're diving headfirst into the world's most captivating untold stories, and you don't want to miss what's coming next, because when it comes to treasure hunts like this, the truth is out there, and it might be worth its weight in gold.